Welcome to ThereFORE, the online fundraiser for Highlands Church. I want to share this special moment with you because right now, this moment is a mountaintop moment. It's a mountaintop moment for you and for me. It's one of those moments that you will remember. You will remember it years from now, decades from now. You'll remember this conversation that we had. Now, I can tell you this is a mountaintop moment because it has been the culmination of many mountaintop moments that have recently taken place here at Highlands and have rippled out throughout the city, almost creating a sense of a revival. The first thing that happened this summer was a vacation Bible school camp that had 153 kids in it and 50 servant volunteers, and this whole entire church was booming and busting at the seams with kids' voices. And then this summer, we had these worship services on the lawn that as you were there, you could just sense that there was so much joy and so much life. Truly mountaintop moments, each of them unique in their own way. There was, of course, this incredible way that we started our most recent series with a baptism at the beach. We thought only a few people would be baptized that day, but 30 people showed up to be baptized, and over 100 people showed up to cheer them on. And that's the second time this year that we've had a baptism with more than 30 people at it. And every time you do one of these baptisms, you have these special moments where you connect with somebody, and I connect with somebody that I know the story of and what's happened in their life. And it's those moments that are truly mountaintop moments. And then, of course, we had this incredible fundraiser after our hike that we went up to the top of the mountain. And one of the people at the top of the mountain was suffering from a constant debilitating muscular condition that made it so that she couldn't even get off the couch most days, but she got up to the top of the mountain. And then just the other day, we did this ThereFORE Night of Giving, and it was our in-person version of this same fundraiser we're doing right now. And it was at Barrel House, and we expected that there would probably be 75 or 150 people that came to this, but there were 350 people who came. Some of them came for the very first time to be a part of what Highlands is doing, to be part of what God is doing in their life. And they were transformed. You could feel it. One of my favorite moments was at the very end of the evening when the person who was working from Barrel House and he was serving the beer, he was working with one of our volunteers, and the volunteer said, "No, you keep all the tips that were given tonight," because the volunteer said, "If I took my tips, I would just donate it to Highlands." And then the guy who was serving the beer said, "I'd like to donate all of my tips tonight to Highlands Church as well." That's how powerful the witness is and how palpable the energy is that is happening. Now, mountaintop moments are interesting things. Jesus actually had mountaintop moments, but Jesus' mountaintop moment wasn't what most people think it would be. See, I don't know if you've ever had this experience before, but you get to the top of a mountain and you think it's going to be this great crescendo and everything's going to be perfect. But this is the capstone on the end of Jesus' earthly ministry, just like his birth in a manger was the big entree and it just wasn't right. This was the finale. It was the moment when Jesus met his disciples. He told them to meet him at the top of a mountain outside the city. But the scripture begins with these words: "Now the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus told them to go. When they saw Jesus at the top of the mountain, they worshiped him, but some doubted." Imagine this experience with some people worshiping, some doubting. Jesus came near and spoke to them. "I've received all authority in heaven and on earth." And then he says, "Therefore, go." Therefore, go. You see, Jesus' mountaintop moment that story starts with 11. Not 12 disciples. See, one of the disciples had taken his own life only a few days or a few weeks earlier than that. The disciples that headed up the mountain that day were broken. They were joyful that they were meeting Jesus, but there was something missing. There was something that wasn't the way it should be, because the vision, if it was right, would have been 12 going up that mountain and not 11. There was one missing. And so when we think about our mountaintop moment, and I want you to know this, that you are at the top of a mountain. That if you're breathing, if you're living, if you're hearing these words today, it means that you've come through a valley And you may still feel like you're in a valley, but there are these truths that we know and have learned along the way that are victories. They're stories of what God has done in our lives. And so if you're hearing this, you are at the top of a mountain, but you'll also recognize that there's always this sense that there's something missing. There's always this incompleteness. See, the world is broken. There is so much that needs to be changed. And every one of us walk into these jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring moments where we recognize that they're not everything they should be, like the fundraiser on Sunday, where we knew that the in-person was not enough because not everybody was there and it felt incomplete. And so Jesus told us that we needed to go into the valley and connect and make sure everybody could be a part of it. The same with worship on Sundays, where we do online as well as in person. And each time we're trying to make sure that more and more people get to the top of the mountain. You see, your life's journey has led to this moment. It has. And now it's your opportunity at the top of the mountain, just like it was for the disciples, to take all that you've been blessed with along the way and then to use it to bless others. Think about that. Jesus said to the disciples, you are here at the top of the mountain. Now go and make disciples. Go down into the valley, spread out, go to all nations, and take what you've received and start to bless the world with it. You see, all life has a trajectory. Your life has a purpose. And the question that I have to ask you right now is, what's next in your life? What is the purpose of this culminating moment for you? What's the point of your life? What will you do about the brokenness? What will you do at the top of your mountain in order to bless the world around you? See, people who don't live out their purpose are empty. That's just the truth of it. The mountaintop experiences for people who don't live out their purpose, they actually serve no purpose. They're empty moments. They're just great experiences, but they don't actually change the world. The difference between a mountaintop moment that has purpose and a mountaintop moment that's just experienced is a mountaintop moment that brings light into the darkness, a mountaintop moment that changes the valley experience of others into their own mountaintops. See, Jesus wanted us to bring others up the mountain. See, what we're doing right now, what we're talking about right now, is about our purpose. And what are we going to do with the blessings that we've received? See, there's stakes at hand. See, if we live out our purpose, many people will be saved. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about ministries in the schools. I'm talking about ministries to grieving widows. I'm talking about ministries that distribute food every Wednesday from this church. I'm talking about the ministries that have just spontaneously emerged from this church and have gone into this riverbed and started to bring burritos to the homeless on Saturday mornings and asking real questions about who are they and what can we do to bless them. These are the ministries that layer upon layer upon layer. It's the ministries that when I'm at VBS and I discovered that there's a family that has gone through trauma, and I'm there and I can walk them through that time of their life, and I recognize that it's not just one kid, but it's hundreds, and I see them throughout the week being rehabilitated and changed. It's those people coming to the top of the mountain. And these are the stories that the world don't find glamorous. They don't want to invest in widows because that's just not the catchy, cool thing to do. They don't want to invest in the homeless. They don't want to invest in all of these areas of ministry or kids who are in the schools who need that hope because they're in the valley. That's it. If we don't bring hope, they remain in the valley. If we don't bring what we've received. So we either save people or we just let everything to go to waste. So that's what ThereFORe is. ThereFORe is this moment. It's a loving decision. It's something that will actually change you as you participate in it, because what you're taking is yourself and you're investing yourself into the lives of the people in this town, in this world, and it will renew your purpose. You know, as I was thinking about the fundraisers I've been to in the past, even at Barrel House, there was one for Life Water years ago. It's a charity that builds fresh water wells. And when I was at that fundraiser, I looked around the fundraiser, and most of the people that I knew there were from Highlands. It was filled with people from Highlands, and all the other people were from churches all over the city and all over the region. See, they were people who'd been brought out of the valley. They had their hearts ignited for Jesus and for love and for hope, and they were there changing the world. And then I called LifeWater the other day and said, how much money has Highlands given over time? And they said, over 76,000 that we've documented. And that's just coming through the church. But all the people that have given in addition aren't even recorded. And that was through a time when LifeWater was struggling, and Highlands was able to get it through that. And now they're serving millions of people. Same with Zozu Project, same with all of these international projects. And a lot of people in church don't know that if they invest themselves in the church, they are actually investing themselves in the cause. And the investments they make in the church, which is investing in the poor, broken people in the valley, is an investment that will multiply and result in fields of people interested and investing and caring about the concerns of the people all over the world. See, this is what ThereFORE is. So here's the plan. What we're going to do is we're going to collect your donations. Right now, I want you to make that decision immediately to donate something. Because I believe if you've gotten this far in this conversation, then you're interested and then you care. Donate something to this. Why? I'd say that because this isn't my plan. This isn't Highlands' plan. This is Jesus' plan. It's the one that he told his disciples, and he's telling us at the top of our mountain, therefore go and make disciples. So if you don't like the plan, as I say, don't shoot the messenger. This is Jesus' plan. And then the second thing, we are going to take those resources and put them to work now. Highlands Church uses every resource every year and pours it into the mission. And the third is we're going to celebrate the wins and tell you what happens. Now here's the call to action. Give. Give if you haven't already given. If you have, thank you. Your gift makes a difference. And if you can give a recurring donation, now a recurring donation is a donation that you set up on a weekly or a every other week basis or a monthly basis. Now, I did not understand the power of recurring donations until I was at a fundraiser for Highlands Church 3 years ago. And my wife and I were debating over what we should give. At the time, we were already tithing a percentage of our income, so we were already giving to the church, something we'd committed, and we knew that this request, just like now, is asking for more. And I said to my wife, we can't give thousands of dollars like other people around here, but we could give $40 every other week. And as a result, we'll probably change some of our dinners into baked potato dinners. And we'll just do a few things different, and we'll make more trips to the beach, and we'll do things that will just allow for this to happen, and it won't be that big a deal. Well, I didn't think it was that big a deal of a commitment when I made it with my wife so many years ago, but I checked, and I discovered that recurring gift, $40 a week, over the past 3.5 years has turned into $3,000. And so why I'm sharing this with you is not to tell you that I think it's admirable that $3,000 has been given. It's just to let you know that any small amount given, and when you give a recurring gift, and this is why I want to emphasize this, when you give a recurring gift, you're saying, I trust that God will continue to fill up my cup. I trust that God will continue to fill me up and give me what is needed in order to meet this commitment. Now, here's the vision. This is people being pulled out of the valley and raised up to life. My favorite thing about this baptism that we had at the beach is that when I looked up, people were cheering, and I thought they were just cheering for the 30th baptism we were doing. But at this moment, I turned around and there were porpoises out in the water, which is basically the difference between an orca and a dolphin. They're huge dolphins. They're beautiful. And they were dancing, and thousands of pelicans. And it felt like all of God's creation was celebrating what God was doing. It was a true mountaintop moment. And all I could think about was, I just wish others were here to experience it too. I just wish that some of those people who were not filled with hope could see this and see that God is at work and that the church is alive, and that though they may think that the future is dim, God is bringing about a revival in our community, in our church. And I want you to envision that this is the future. Remember this. Your life's journey has led to this moment. Now, the question is to take how you're going to do it. Take all that you've been blessed with and use it to bless others. Now, by the way, when the disciples left that mountaintop and Jesus said, go into all nations, those disciples had to go home to their spouses and they had to go home to their families and say, we are about to go on a journey and it has no small sacrifice, but the rewards are endless. And so my encouragement to you is, if you feel that Jesus is leaning into you at the top of the mountain that you're on right now and whispering like he did to the disciples saying, therefore go, then I encourage you to respond. But if you don't feel that Jesus is saying that to you and you feel it's just coming from me, then don't worry about it. But take a moment and pray and ask, Jesus, how are you calling me to step forward into the valley? And as you do that, you will find great joy everywhere you go. So I want to thank you for the time that you've spent with me here now. If you're giving, if you choose to give, there's 4 ways to give. One is to text to 84321. Just pick up your phone and text any dollar amount, $10, $100, to 84321. If you would like to just give a cash donation, you can give it at the church mailbox. There's a mailbox that's secure. You can drop it in, or a check. You can do that and just write your name on it and commit it that way. If you wanted to give online, which that's how you're receiving this message, just go to the Highlands Church website and click on Give. And there's actually a drop-down box there for ThereFORe. And be bold enough to ask Jesus how often you would like to give this gift as a recurring donation. And then the last thing is, you can actually just lift up your phone right now and you can scan this QR code and it will open up the very same website. We want you to know how thankful we are that you are praying for this and that you're lifting this up and that you care about this and that you understand that your mountaintop moment is not just for you. It's so that the world can be changed and that the sacrifices you make right now are going to make a huge difference. They're going to result in more mountaintops for more people. All right, God bless you. Thank you. And I can't wait to see what God's going to do in your life to lift you up to the next mountaintop. ThereFORE,